Hi everyone. So this is a full blue moon in Sagittarius. So this fiery energy is going to shake life up. This brings our first blue moon since August 31st, 2023, and the last one until December 31st, 2028, which also happens to be a total lunar eclipse. So we also have what are considered seasonal blue moons, and there will be a couple more of those before December, but the monthly ones are the especially potent ones. So we have a second chance to manifest our desires and let the moon's illumination bring us clarity and connect to the universe. Or, in this case, shoot from the hip, as well as speak passionately about our worldly aspirations and hopes. And again, so this full moon is in Sagittarius. The symbol is the centaur, or the archer, is half horse. It helps us gain more clarity about the broader meaning of everything that happened in the last weeks, particularly since the full moon in Scorpio, which was at the beginning of the month. The Sagittarius full moon reminds us that growth is not linear and invites us to release what is no longer purposeful and authentic. This blue full moon is particularly significant for people born with planets in Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So they particularly are experiencing a significant shift in perspective and a potential turning point in one or more area of their lives. They are being asked to trust the path that intuitively calls them and let go of outdated beliefs and narratives that no longer align with who they are becoming. Okay, so I never really understood what Sagittarians were about, but I got a little bit of information which I find interesting. So philosophers are ruled by Sagittarius. I didn't know that. They're thinkers. But it's not just that they're thinkers, they're seeking answers. They are a fire sign and they're mutable. So Sagittarians are the ones that read books, travel the world, explore things. And they're the ones that want to find the complexity in life. They want to research that. They want to understand it. So at its core, Sagittarius is about trying to find a sense of coherence, the big picture. And the process cannot be rushed. And it is the same for this whole energy that we're feeling right now, not to be rushed. We're going to get to the truth of things. And at its core, that's kind of what Sagittarius is about. So Sagittarius has also been considered the nomad of the zodiac. So if you think about it, it's the archer. They're on the horse. Right? So they're always looking, always searching, and never quite settling. And their consistent movement makes them appear like they're always aimlessly wandering, that they like adventure or they can't commit. But what's missed about this is that they are always in the process of the search and the pursuit of truth. The reason the writer cannot stop is that they haven't found the truth yet. So they have to keep going, not from restlessness, but from integrity. And when the truth is eventually found, then and only then is the writer ready to graduate to Capricorn, which is the committed, make things happen state of consciousness. And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but if you start with the zodiac, but Aries is the start, and each successive sign is a graduation from the previous and continuing on in the cycle of the archetypes. So the Pisces are the very last sign. They're the ones that have kind of gone through all the processes. And I think that's why we find that Pisces are very complex people. So this full moon is in Sagittarius. It is at this moment that we can say this is it. This is it is the answer to the Sagittarius search. It's the moment when the rider gets off the horse because the answer has finally been found and the search has come to its inevitable end. This is not an intellectual exercise. We don't find it by testing hypotheses, making lists of things we like, being intentional, asking experts, or weighing the pros and cons. It is a deeper knowing that only emerges when everything falls into place, into what feels like an effortless choreography. Our relationship with the Sagittarius principle reveals whether we live our life with integrity, in alignment with our own personal truth or not. In that sense, the full moon in Sagittarius can be the yes or no answer to the "this is it" question. It can be the striking realization that none of this is really me, and maybe our entire life is built on a version of the truth that no longer applies. The full moon in Sagittarius can also bring the assurance that, at least in some areas of our life, we're doing exactly what we are supposed to be doing. That our search for meaning, the striving, the searching have been worth the effort, and that things are finally clicking into place. And that is what this full moon is bringing us. So we have a couple of planetary aspects that are affecting things. So Pluto inspires us to go deeper into our transformation process and face uncomfortable truths without shaming or blaming either ourselves or others. Around this time, we have the opportunity to understand our and others' choices on a more profound level and release attachments that are not helping us grow. Uranus chimes in, of course. So it is the planet of awakening, surprise, and change, and it's highly active under this full moon, stirring waves of disruption and breakthrough energy. Uranus likes to shake things loose in order to reveal what is truly solid and worth holding on to. So this is how it kind of meshes with that Sagittarius energy. So things that are happening now, I think we're going to find, and I think that's part of that focus too. I think we gain clarity. I think we're going to find that this is coming for a lot of us now. So things may feel uncertain or unsettled at times, but if something slips through your hands now, it may simply be revealing that, like, what was never fully aligned in the first place. Sometimes when we loosen our grip, we create space for what is genuinely meant for us. When Uranus is active, our task is not to control every outcome, but to remain flexible and open to the flow of the moment. If you're feeling scattered, uncertain, or insecure about the future, see if you can invite more trust and acceptance into your life. The more we resist change, the more turbulent Uranus can feel. But when we soften into the unfolding process, we often discover that the shifts taking place are liberating us in ways we could not yet imagine. On a more practical level, if there's something that you've been longing to change, this Sagittarius blue moon can offer powerful support. It is an excellent time to clear space for new beginnings, adopt healthier habits, shift limiting mindsets, or take bold steps towards a new chapter. Not everything arrives wrapped in certainty, but there's strong indication that the changes unfolding under this full moon will ultimately lead us somewhere better, even if we cannot fully see the destination yet. And so Saturn's influence, as if Uranus wasn't enough to stir up the cosmic waters, Saturn is also strongly activated under this full moon, adding another layer of intensity and maturity to the energy. When Saturn aligns with the full moon, we can feel a push-pull between our responsibilities and our emotional world. Duty may call us in one direction, while our feelings pull us in another. Saturn wants us to take a practical, grounded approach. It asks us to think logically, honor commitments, and focus on long-term stability. The moon, however, asks us to feel deeply, trust our intuition, and move from the wisdom of the heart. Under this blue moon, these two forces may seem to clash, but perhaps the lesson is not about choosing one over the other. Perhaps the real wisdom allows in allowing both to coexist. If you find yourself torn between what feels right emotionally and what seems practical logically, see if there's a middle path available. There may be a way for your heart and your responsibilities to work together rather than compete against each other. And Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter, and Jupiter is in Cancer and squaring Chiron. Chiron always has to make an appearance. Thank you. This brings about higher meaning and purpose to our experiences. We may question our faith and find it challenging and hold ourselves in times of uncertainty. So Chiron is exposing wounds around self-trust, self-assertion, and having the right to exist and take space. Since the last degree of the sign is activated, our experience is getting more radical and drastic around this time. So Jupiter in Cancer emphasizes the importance of coming into contact with our inner intuitive wisdom instead of searching for answers outside of ourselves. This combination reminds us that our emotions carry wisdom. They always carry a message that needs to be taken into account. In Cancer, Jupiter intensifies the need for emotional honesty, asking us to embrace vulnerability and dare to share the truth of how we feel. Mars. So Mars enters the picture too, amplifying everything we're feeling. So remember, Mars is the closer planet, so we're going to feel it more personally as opposed to collectively, which is what the outer planets give us. So Mars adds heat, momentum, courage, and urgency. It can energize us to take action, move forward, and finally tackle what we have been avoiding. This fiery influence may also heighten emotions, making reactions feel stronger and passions more difficult to ignore. The key with Mars is conscious channeling rather than allowing frustration or restlessness to build. Direct this energy into movement, creativity, motivation, and purposeful action. Physical activity can be especially supportive under this full moon. Exercise, dancing, walking, or any healthy outlet that gets energy moving through the body may help release tension and restore balance. Mars reminds us that emotions are energy in motion. When directed intentionally, they become fuel for transformation. Now we have the asteroid Pallas. So Pallas in Aries and Juno, which is also another asteroid, in Aquarius add flavor to the full moon. Pallas is the warrior archetype and extra sparky in Aries. Our impulses urge us to act without thinking or knowing the implications. Juno is loyal until betrayed. So Juno is the asteroid of commitment, relationships, marriage, and as we go further, you'll see that Juno is going retrograde, which is going to impact all of us as well. Juno is loyal until betrayed. In the sign of Aquarius, we can experience it as unconventionality and freedom in partnerships. The flip side is that we may detach from the drama to maintain our peace of being. The two asteroids push us to prioritize our autonomy and value our choices. Rather than listen to everyone's opinions, honing in on our voice and mindset is vital. And Mercury, which is in the last degrees of Gemini. This creates a frenetic, immediate need to speak before we put our thoughts together. Yes, we may put our foot in our mouths and say inappropriate things that could ruffle many feathers. A sentiment the moon in Sagittarius echoes. It is important to keep track of our ideas and concepts. Jumping from A to B can happen in seconds within a conversation or thought process, making it hard to focus on a single point. The silver lining is that Mercury harmonizes with Sagittarius in Aries, helping us mend fences and heal wounds that surface. There is a fine line between being oppressive and kind. If we listen closely, we'll hear that everyone is on the same side, just speaking over each other. Therefore, we must be cognizant and conscious of how we come across. Fighting for the sake of being controversial and relevant is going to make things messier. The blue moon is a curator of chaos, but we don't have to let it. We can willfully switch to the vibe by agreeing not to agree, notably walking away from disputes, building bridges toward resolution, or simply allowing others to express their sentiments and acknowledging them with an open mind and heart. So ultimately, the Sagittarius blue moon carries a mixture of release, awakening, responsibility, and forward momentum. It asks us to loosen our grip on the past while remaining open to where life may be guiding us next. There's a strong theme of evolution under this moon. Old identities, outdated beliefs, and situations that no longer align may begin falling away so something more authentic can emerge in its place. While the energy may feel intense at times, there is also tremendous opportunity here. Opportunity to free yourself from what has become too small. Opportunity to trust the unfolding path. Opportunity to choose growth over fear. Blue moons are rare, and their energy often marks turning points we remember long after they pass. Use this lunar energy wisely. Be brave enough to release what is heavy, open enough to embrace change, and curious enough to step into the unknown. I'm going to go through the signs. Aries. June begins with momentum. The Sagittarius full moon lights up your expansion, travel, learning, and adventure sector. So you may enter the week feeling clearer about where you want your life to grow next. Use this energy concretely. Pitch the idea, book the meeting, or start researching the move, the program, the trip, the skill you want to develop. The full moon is reminding you that growth requires participation. Just be mindful of overcommitting in the excitement of possibility. Focus on one or two bold moves that genuinely expand your world instead of scattering your energy across 10 directions. Mercury enters Cancer on the 1st, pulling your attention toward home, family, emotional security, and the parts of your life that support you privately. You may become more reflective about your living situation, boundaries with relatives, or what actually helps you feel grounded after a busy stretch. By the 5th, Juno retrograde in Aquarius begins asking quieter questions about friendships, community, technology, and long-term collaborations. Which connections still feel reciprocal? Which group dynamics drain more energy than they give? This first week of June has an interesting balance to it. Outward growth is calling, but so is the need to strengthen your foundation and become more intentional about who you're building your future with. So, Taurus. June begins with the Sagittarius full moon still energizing your depth, intimacy, and shared resources sector. So you're entering the month thinking less about surface goals and more about what actually creates security. You may be looking closely at finances, debt, investments, emotional reciprocity, or the dynamics where your time, energy, or money are intertwined with others. This is a strong energy for cleaning up financial loose ends, renegotiating agreements, or getting honest about where you are overgiving or undercharging. The full moon is asking for courage around trust and boundaries, not just optimism. Mercury enters Cancer on the 1st and softens your communication style considerably. Your thoughts become more intuitive, reflective, and emotionally precise. This is a useful week for writing, difficult conversations, creative brainstorming, reconnecting with siblings or neighbors, or simply saying what you mean with less defensiveness attached to it. Then on the 5th, Juno retrograde begins stirring your career and reputation sector. Questions around leadership, ambition, loyalty in professional settings, or the future of certain collaborations may surface. You don't need immediate answers, but you do need honesty about which commitments still reflect the person you're becoming professionally. Gemini. June starts with relationship themes impossible to ignore. The Sagittarius full moon that peaked on the 31st is still activating your partnership sector. So you're entering the week hyper aware of who you're building with, who challenges you, who supports you, and which connections need clearer expectations attached to them. Some Geminis may feel ready to deepen a commitment. Others may recognize where more freedom, honesty, or space is necessary. The key is to communicate directly. Making assumptions will waste everyone's time. Then on the 1st, Mercury, your ruling planet, enters Cancer and shifts your focus towards money, self-worth, and stability. Your attention naturally turns toward budgeting, pricing your work appropriately, spending habits, or defining what abundance actually looks like for you emotionally and materially. On the 5th, Juno retrograde in Aquarius begins moving through your expansion sector, bringing quiet reevaluations around travel, education, belief systems, publishing, teaching, or long-term visions for your life. You may find yourself reconsidering goals you once thought were fixed. Give yourself permission to update the dream instead of staying loyal to an old blueprint out of habit. Cancer. June begins with the Sagittarius full moon still moving through your work, wellness, and routine sector. So you may enter the week feeling highly aware of your habits, workload, energy levels, and the systems that either support or sabotage your well-being. Use this momentum for reorganizing your schedule, improving sleep, tightening boundaries around work, or addressing health goals realistically instead of all or nothing. The full moon is helping you see where small daily choices are shaping your bigger quality of life. Then Mercury enters your sign on the 1st, and you immediately feel the shift. Your intuition sharpens and your emotional intelligence increases during this transit. This is an excellent period to advocate for yourself. Refresh your personal goals, journal, initiate important conversations, or simply trust your instincts more openly. By the 5th, Juno retrograde in Aquarius begins activating your depth, intimacy, and shared resources sector. Questions around trust, emotional reciprocity, finances, long-term commitment, or power dynamics in close relationships may start quietly unfolding. The invitation this week is not to retreat from complexity, but to approach it with clarity, emotional maturity, and stronger awareness of what you actually need from the people closest to you. Leo. June begins with the Sagittarius full moon still energizing your creativity, romance, and self-expression sector. So you're entering the week remembering what makes you feel alive. You may feel more confident, flirtatious, artistic, playful, or simply less willing to postpone joy until everything on your to-do list is perfect. This is useful energy for creating, dating, performing, launching passion projects, spending time with children, or reconnecting with hobbies you've neglected. The main lesson of this full moon is to not overcomplicate what genuinely lights you up. Then Mercury enters Cancer on the 1st and shifts your attention inward. Your thoughts become more private, reflective, and intuitive. You may need more alone time, more sleep, or more space to process emotions before reacting outwardly. On the 5th, Juno retrograde activates your relationship zone, bringing subtle reassessments around commitment, reciprocity, collaboration, and what partnership means to you now. Some Leos may revisit old relationship patterns, while others may realize they need more individuality inside their closest connections. This first week of June asks you to balance visibility with introspection and remember that strong relationships still need room to evolve. Virgo. June begins with the energy of the Sagittarius full moon still moving through your home, family, and emotional foundation sector. So the week starts with a strong awareness of what is happening behind the scenes of your life. You may be thinking about your living situation, family dynamics, emotional boundaries, or how supported you actually feel in your private world. This is productive energy for reorganizing your space, having overdue conversations with relatives, or making practical changes that improve your sense of stability. Focus on creating an environment that actually helps you function and feel well. Mercury enters Cancer on the 1st and brings a welcome social softness. Your friendship, community, and long-term goals sector becomes more emotionally engaged, making this a strong period for collaboration, networking, reconnecting with supportive people, or revisiting future plans that still matter to you emotionally. Then on the 5th, Juno retrograde begins activating your routines, work, and wellness sector. You may quietly reevaluate commitments connected to workload, productivity, team dynamics, or the systems structuring your daily life. Use this transit to check in on whether your current commitments are sustainable, reciprocal, and aligned with the life you're trying to build. Libra. June begins with the Sagittarius full moon still energizing your communication, learning, and mindset sector. So you're entering the week mentally activated and ready to connect dots. Conversations, writing, creativity, and the way you frame your thoughts all matter more than usual. You may feel pulled towards studying something new, pitching an idea, traveling locally, reconnecting with siblings or neighbors, or finally speaking more openly about what you've been processing internally. The full moon is helping you clarify your voice. Use it. Then Mercury enters Cancer on the 1st and shifts your attention toward career visibility and long-term ambitions. Your mind turns toward professional goals, leadership decisions, reputation management, or how you want to be perceived publicly. This is a useful few weeks for strategic conversations, updating professional materials, reaching out to mentors, or becoming clearer about what success actually means to you emotionally. On the 5th, Juno retrograde begins stirring your creativity, romance, and self-expression sector. Questions around dating, artistic projects, pleasure, or long-term emotional compatibility may begin evolving quietly in the background. This first week of June asks you to stay intellectually open while also protecting space for the parts of your life that can't be optimized into a spreadsheet. Scorpio. June brings the Sagittarius full moon still moving through your money, self-worth, and security sector. So you're entering the week thinking very concretely about your value, your time, your pricing, your spending habits, and the emotional stories you attach to abundance. This is useful energy for tightening a budget, renegotiating rates, asking for what you deserve, or getting clearer about what actually makes you feel secure versus what simply looks secure on paper. The full moon wants you making decisions from self-respect rather than scarcity or emotional impulse. With Mercury entering your fellow water sign Cancer on the 1st, your perspective widens. Your expansion, travel, education, and big picture sector lights up, making this a strong week for planning trips, studying, teaching, publishing, spiritual work, or simply getting out of mental loops by exposing yourself to new ideas. On the 5th, Juno retrograde in Aquarius begins activating your home and roots sector. Questions around family roles, emotional labor, domestic partnerships, or what commitment looks like may start surfacing. Some Scorpios may rethink how they give to family systems versus themselves, while others may quietly redefine what home needs to feel like moving forward. This first full week of June is asking you to focus on feeling secure within yourself first and foremost instead of seeking external validation. Sagittarius. June begins with your full moon still very much alive in your system, so you're entering the week with heightened clarity around identity, direction, and what chapter you're actually ready to step into next. You may feel energized, visible, emotional, impatient, and inspired all at once. This is excellent energy for taking initiative, making a decision you've been circling, updating your personal goals, or simply acting like you believe in your own future again. The key is channeling this momentum intentionally rather than saying yes to every exciting possibility that crosses your path. Mercury enters Cancer on the 1st and immediately shifts your focus toward intimacy, finances, vulnerability, trust, and the parts of your life that require emotional honesty rather than optimism alone. This is a productive period for handling taxes, debt, contracts, shared resources, or having conversations that strengthen emotional and financial clarity in close relationships. Then on the 5th, Juno retrograde in Aquarius begins activating your communication and mindset sector. You may revisit how you handle commitment in conversations, friendships, dating dynamics, or everyday interactions. Are you expressing what you actually mean, or assuming people should interpret the subtext correctly? This first week of June asks you to slow your thinking down just enough to let your words reflect your real intentions. Capricorn. June begins with the Sagittarius full moon still moving through your solitude, healing, and subconscious sector. So you may enter the week quieter than usual, more reflective, and much more aware of what your nervous system has been carrying. Rest is productive right now. So is therapy, journaling, spiritual practice, deleting the app that keeps draining your attention, or finally admitting you need a slower pace in one area of your life. The full moon is helping you release emotional clutter before your season of visibility picks back up. Use the clarity without turning it into another project you need to optimize. Mercury enters Cancer on the 1st and immediately redirects your attention toward relationships, collaboration, and emotional communication with others. You're thinking more about partnership dynamics, contracts, reciprocity, and what it actually means to build something with another person instead of carrying everything independently. Then on the 5th, Juno retrograde in Aquarius begins activating your money and self-worth sector. Questions around financial agreements, loyalty and professional arrangements, pricing, or what you truly value may begin evolving in the background. This is a useful week to examine whether your commitments still reflect your worth or simply your tolerance level. Aquarius. June begins with the Sagittarius full moon still energizing your friendship, community, and future vision sector. So you're entering the week focused on where your life is headed and who's genuinely growing alongside you. This is strong energy for networking, collaborating, reconnecting with inspiring people, refining long-term goals, or stepping back from social dynamics that feel performative or stagnant. The full moon wants you thinking bigger about your future, but also more selectively about the company you keep while building it. Mercury enters Cancer on the 1st and shifts your attention toward work, routines, wellness, and the mechanics of daily life. You may spend the next few weeks reorganizing schedules, adjusting health habits, improving workflows, or communicating more clearly around boundaries and workload. Then on the 5th, Juno retrograde begins in your sign, making this one of the more personally significant transits of the week for you. Commitment, identity, independence, and relationship expectations all come under review. You may rethink what partnership means without abandoning your need for freedom. Healthy detachment becomes less about disappearing emotionally and more about staying connected to the right people without losing your individuality. Pisces. June begins with the Sagittarius full moon still activating your career, visibility, and long-term ambition sector. So the week starts with strong awareness around direction, reputation, and what you're actually working toward. Some Pisces may feel recognized for something they've been building quietly, while others may realize a professional goal needs recalibrating. This is excellent energy for making leadership moves, updating your strategy, applying for exciting new opportunities, or getting more honest about what success needs to look like for you now instead of 5 versions of yourself ago. Mercury enters your fellow water sign Cancer on the 1st and brings immediate relief. Your creativity, romance, pleasure, and self-expression sector lights up, making the next few weeks softer, more playful, and emotionally expressive. You may feel more inspired creatively, more flirtatious, more connected to your inner child, or simply more willing to prioritize joy alongside responsibility. Then on the 5th, Juno retrograde begins activating your solitude and spirituality sector. Relationship patterns, subconscious expectations around loyalty, or unresolved emotional attachments may quietly surface for review. This isn't a week for forcing clarity prematurely. Give yourself space to observe what your intuition has been trying to tell you once the noise settles. So with that, it's going to bring us to our meditation. And what I decided today's meditation should be is about releasing regrets. And I think it's appropriate given the energies of this moon, because if Sagittarius is the sign that is looking for truths and answers before getting off the horse and saying, yes, this is it, this is me, this is where I'm starting from, I think one of the things that would be helpful to get rid of is regret. We are all of an age here where we can kind of look back and figure out something that we've regretted in our life. There are 4 core regrets that people hang on to. Foundation regrets, which is the result of failing to do the work or making small, poor decisions early in life, such as, undersaving money or neglecting your health. Boldness regrets, so remorse over playing it safe during crucial life junctures instead of taking a chance, so not starting a business or asking someone out. Moral regrets, looking back on a choice where you took the wrong path and violated your own ethical compass. And connection regrets, so pain over relationships that drifted apart or were severed due to a lack of effort or a failure to reach out. The reason I want to get rid of regrets is because with this energy, we are kind of on a precipice to start the new chapters in our lives. And I think the way to do that is to get rid of that baggage and start from where we are. And if we can release regrets, it can help with a lot of things. It can reduce anxiety if we stop dwelling on the what ifs or playing out alternative imaginary realities. Let's get rid of that regret. It can make us more motivated. It can increase our action. We're more likely to take the risks or try new things, knowing that inaction can cause more long-term pain than a failed attempt can. And radical self-compassion. So you understand that you made past choices based on the information and the maturity and the knowledge you had at the time, which allows you to forgive yourself. And I think all of these are very important things to be the best versions of ourselves. So another little tidbit that they really liked this. A truly fulfilling life doesn't mean you never make mistakes, but rather that you use regret as data to guide future decisions rather than letting them weigh you down. So with that, let's get into a comfortable position. And by the way, we're going to go to our safe space to look at these regrets. So let's take a deep, relaxing breath in, and gently and slowly exhale. Take another deep breath in, hold it for 4, and release softly. Your body is at ease, soft and pliable. You are safe, and you feel yourself relaxing deeper and deeper with each slow breath. quietly scan down your body, beginning with the crown of your head. Take a deep breath and release any tension on the out-breath. Let this feeling of relaxation soften the muscles around your face, temples, and jaw. Don't clench your teeth, and let your tongue rest gently on the roof of your mouth. Take another deep breath and become aware of any tension in your neck and shoulders. As you exhale, let your shoulders drop, becoming soft and relaxed. Let this feeling of relaxation spread down your arms, into your fingers, down your chest and abdomen, your back and legs, right down to your toes. Breathe to your own rhythm and let your whole body become heavy, soft, and relaxed. Now see yourself walking through a beautiful valley. There are beautiful trees all around. The ground beneath your feet is soft and moss covered. The occasional twig crackles as you accidentally step on it. Smell the woodsy odor around you. Hear the birds in the trees, the wind rustling the leaves. Keep walking and admiring your surroundings. See the flowers, vines climbing onto tree trunks, wild bushes, a little creek that is flowing along the path you're walking on. Feel the bright sun shine as the rays filter through the branches. You feel the warmth of it on your face. As you continue walking, you see a clearing coming up. As you enter the clearing, you are welcomed by your very own personal safe space. Take in every little detail of your space. Look around. Feel how comfortable and safe you feel. Notice that everything is just as you left it before, except there is a box in the center of your space. Approach the box and sit next to it. This box is where you have stored all your regrets. Slowly open the box and look inside. Look at all the regrets you've stored in here. It's time to go through them and release them. They're no longer needed. It's a purging of your mind and soul. Take some time to go through the box. Look at each regret. Feel it, weigh it, ponder on it, and release it to the universe. that you've had time to look at all your regrets and release them, you can understand how they have been weighing you down. It is time to forgive yourself for these choices and move forward, living life being the best version of yourself. Now that your box of regrets is empty, it's time to put it off to the side and head back. So stand up, turn back toward the path from which you entered. Notice that your body is slowly becoming heavier. Feel the heaviness fill your whole body, all the way down through to the tips of your toes. Take a few deep grounding breaths, deep breaths, while we get back into our bodies. Feel that our feet have grown roots to the ground and that we are connected with Mother Earth. Start feeling that your body is alive again. Feel the blood pulse through it. Feel alive. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Move your head from side to side, forwards and backwards. Slow, deliberate movements. And when you are ready, open your eyes and come back. We reminded everyone before that this one is a burning event, so we're going to write down what we want to release and we're going to burn it. I think that this Sagittarius energy was very good for kind of like looking a little bit deeper into ourselves and where we need to be a little bit nicer to ourselves too. I know that's one of my biggest things. I'm very hard on myself, and I think the vast majority of us are. Our internal dialogues with ourselves is so much harsher than it would be to someone else. And we need to remember to not do that. So I think that is something, that is one of my regrets, is that I'm way too hard on myself. I have to stop doing it. So I think that is something that we're probably all, I'm going to say guilty of, but you know, we didn't know any better. So I think this was a good thing to kind of lose. So with that said, I think the energies for burning are good until Tuesday. I think we want to burn by Tuesday or before Tuesday. So let's remember to do that. Hopefully everybody has a smooth burn. Mine have been pretty good lately, so I'm not complaining too much. I'm obviously finding the appropriate things to try to get rid of, or the time is right for me to get rid of these things because my burns have been a bit smoother, so I'm going to take it. So on that note, I will let you guys all go, get back to your evenings, and I guess we'll see you all in a couple of weeks. Okay, thank you everybody.